It's time to fire this thing up.
Welcome aboard ShipShape TV Essentials. This is your port of call for the most impactful upgrades, expert advice, and hands-on solutions from seasons past. This episode is proudly brought to you by SureHold, because anything worth doing is worth doing bright. From cleaning to protecting and perfecting, SureHold has everything you need to keep your boat shining. Don't just go boating, go showboating. Now, let's hoist anchor and set a course for another exciting episode of ShipShape TV Essentials.
If boating's your game, then you'll agree. ShipShape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the sea, ShipShape means trouble-free. ShipShape means being neater. ShipShape makes boat work easier. ShipShape is the way to go. The ShipShape Boat Care Show.
ShipShape, South Florida's only boat improvement show, is being brought to you in part by Boat Owners Warehouse, Everything Marine, and by Cable Marine, where our qualified people make the difference, and by RPM Diesel Engine Company, much more than an engine company, and by Yacht Interiors by Shelley. When extra is needed, extra is given.
Thanks for tuning in to ShipShape, the Boat Improvement Show. I'm your host, John Graviscus, and today's show is on location in Marathon, Florida. We're at Faro Blanco, one of the West Trek resorts, and we're going to be covering the DeFever Rendezvous, sponsored by Oviatt Marine. We'll be taking a first-hand look at some of these beautiful DeFever yachts, as well as interviewing some of the different manufacturers and owner-operators involved in the Rendezvous. As always, if there's a special project that you'd like to see us cover here at ShipShape, write us a letter or send us a fax.
Write your project suggestions to ShipShape, the TV show. Attention Project Director, Post Office Box 31561, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida 33420. Or fax us at area code 407-626-4348.
And when we come back from this short break, we're going to show you some of the exciting things taking place at the DeFever Trawler Rendezvous in Marathon, Florida. So stick around.
Don't float away. ShipShape. We'll be right back.
When you seriously want your expensive wax and buffing pads rejuvenated to a like-new condition, you seriously want SureHold Industries Serious Pad Cleaner. Scientifically formulated to quickly dissolve compounds and waxes from all wool pads, foam pads, microfiber towels, cotton bonnets, even blended buffing pads. All it takes is adding this Serious Pad Cleaner powder to your arsenal. Serious Pad Cleaner, another answer from SureHold Industries' clean and simple solutions for detailing all your toys.
Welcome back. With me is Gary Oviatt of Oviatt Marine. Now, Oviatt Marine is the actual title sponsor of the DeFever Rendezvous. Gary, can you tell us what the DeFever Trawler Rendezvous is all about, what it's for?
Yes, the rendezvous is an excuse for the owners to get together and have a good time and to exchange ideas with the manufacturers who are sponsors of the event.
Now, these trawler owners, it's a lifestyle, is that correct?
That's correct.
So they're on their boats quite a bit.
Most of them live aboard a good part of the year, if not all of the year.
Okay, so the manufacturers come in and do seminars, focus groups on how these boat owners actually are using their products, is that correct?
That's right.
Are they learning anything?
Yes, the manufacturers are usually amazed at the product knowledge that the boat owners have. And
okay.
I think the manufacturers learn as much as the owners do.
Well, that's great. Now, who are some of the people that we're going to be seeing today?
Andy Gifford of Larry Smith Marine Electronics, Arthur DeFever, the designer. Pinpoint Navigation Systems has a representative here, Bob Smith of American Diesel, amongst others.
Well, I can't wait to head inside and ask these guys some questions. Come on, let's go.
Okay.
Now, with me is Bob Smith of American Diesel. Bob, how are you involved in the DeFever Rendezvous?
Well, I'm here sort of as the guru of Lehman Ford engines, so to speak. I've been doing Lehman Ford diesels, which have been synonymous with trawler yachts and so forth, for as many years as trawlers have been popular. Lehman Fords, we've built thousands of engines over the years, and I sold them to the factories that Mr. DeFever had build the boats, and I'm very familiar with the different installations. And today I work with the owners and come to the rendezvous to try to give them some insight as to what problems they might have, how to deal with problems they are having, and keep an open phone line with them, so to speak, on a daily basis. Of course, I make money by selling them parts and giving good advice and so forth, which over a period of years has worked out. But it's just what we've done for many, many years. I've been in this business for 35 years, and I learn every time I come to a meeting.
Sure, sure. Now, I know that you were giving one of the seminars today, and one of the points brought out was this Marvel Mystery Oil. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Marvel Mystery Oil is something that our fathers and grandfathers and anybody that's been around engines and machinery have used for years and years as an additive for fuel oil. Now that they've gone to the new low sulfur fuels that have taken away the lubrication qualities because they don't have sulfur in them for the pollution, use of Marvel Mystery Oil is a supplement for the fuel, which also helps in lubricating injectors and so forth. And I very strongly advocate the use of it. A question was asked today, how much? And of course it says on the can, but a quart to 100 gallons of fuel is a very cheap investment to know that you're not going to have injector problems. And these injector problems are not just on Lehman Ford diesels, they'd be on Perkins or Westerbeek or any of the other 4-cycle engines. So that it's just something that I happen to get tagged with, that they come back and they say it's something that works, which we like to have.
Sure. So there's been a lot of good exchange of information here
every
at
day.
The seminar.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything new in the diesel engine company? Are there any new technologies out? Anything like that?
Well, the only thing we're doing are the same thing I've done for 35 years, sort of over again. We continue today to manufacture replacements for the engines that we built in the early 60s, and through my American Diesel we actually have replacement engines that will fit right back in the same holes and keep the guy going with the most modern of engines. So
life expectancy is pretty long that I take on the American
forever.
Diesel.
We're looking between 20 and 25,000 hours for a first overhaul on our engines. And if you look around and talk to the people with these boats, you'll see it takes them a long, long time, if ever, for getting that kind of mileage and hours on the boats. But
well, Bob, thanks for taking some time out
Thanks
of your
for
busy
having
schedule.
me. Appreciate it.
Now, John, you're the owner of Reverso, this product here. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Well, basically, it's a reversible oil change system. It's used in engine rooms so that owners and people who do their own maintenance can easily take the oil out of an engine and put fresh oil back in. And also, when an engine needs oil, instead of having to carry around a lot of quart cans, they can simply pump out of a 5-gallon can and put fresh oil back into the engines.
When you take your vessel to a boatyard and they do the oil change for you, what are we talking about price-wise?
It usually goes by the hour on an oil change system, you know, when they're bringing someone in. So you've got time to the vessel and off the vessel. They charge from $45 to $65 an hour. And on a twin-engine boat with a generator, which would be basically three engines you're changing the oil on, you probably have anywhere from $250 to $350 for an oil change.
Now, what's the cost of your unit?
The system itself is $295.
$295. So you're talking about doing a couple of oil changes, and it's more than going to pay for this.
I've had people tell me that depending on which yards you go to, some of the more high-priced yards, that in what they save in 2 or 3 oil changes will pay for the system and the installation.
Now, on the DeFever, being a long-range cruiser, a lot of places they go to don't have yards. They don't have marinas accessible. So this is something real crucial.
Yeah, the DeFever owner is more atypical of, let's say, the general boating population, that they do a lot of their own maintenance, and they're very concerned with maintenance because they go to places and travel where preventive maintenance is an extremely important issue. So they're very conscious of doing the oil changes when they should be done, and you're not always at a place you can do it.
What do you recommend on an oil change?
It usually goes to whatever the engine manufacturer suggests, but around 200 hours
About 200
is approximately with most engines.
3 valves, what are they for?
A typical boat is twin-engine boat with a generator, so 1 valve for each engine and 1 to go to the generator.
What do you recommend length and hose where you're mounting this thing?
What we like people to do is keep the hose runs as short as possible, because the longer you make it, the more friction there is, and the slower the oil will be transferred. We tell people to try and use 5/8 hoses and what they call a full flow valve when they're valving this into this, and it makes the oil change just go faster.
So mount this in the engine room, close to the engine, short run hose.
Exactly, usually on a bulkhead or onto a stringer.
What do we have over here?
This is the upgraded version. Functionally, it does the exact same thing as our OP403. We call it our 503. We put it into a stainless steel case for people who are a little more concerned with the cosmetics of it.
Okay.
It still has 3 valves and a fuse, you know, and a reversing switch. It does the same thing that the other unit does.
Price on this one, John?
This one is $495.
John, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Now here we have Andy Gifford with Larry Smith Electronics. Andy, why don't you tell us some of the feedback that you got at the Rendezvous?
Well, the feedback I get at the Rendezvous is what are the new products, what's coming out. If I buy a product today, is it going to be outdated tomorrow? With marine electronics, particularly being electronics, computers on the marketplace, something that's brand new now, 6 months later, is out of date.
Gotcha.
So basically, I come here as the advisor to the owners for marine electronics. They call me, they ask me questions about different products, whether it be navigation, communications, computers, instrument systems, autopilots, and I give them the best of our company's knowledge.
What are some of the new things out in the market?
Well, the biggest thing that I see on the market is computers. People are becoming much more computer literate. With this type of yacht, a DeFever, a lot of the people are liveaboards, and so they can use a computer as a word processor during the day. They can run Quicken on it, and then when they go to sea, they can use some of the new NOAA charts that are available on CD, and they can actually use it as a plotting system. So
now I understand that you are also the I guess the firm that's carrying some of the Pinpoint navigation
That's
equipment.
correct. That's correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about Pinpoint?
Well, Pinpoint is a newcomer to the market in the marine charting system. They're using the NOAA and the chart kit system there. We're excited about it. It seems to be a well-run program. It seems to work pretty easily for people to use, which is very important. We always say to people, make sure you have charts for where you're going, and they do. Make sure it's easy to use, and the biggest thing, of course, is make sure you can see it, because a lot of programs that are designed for computers, the person is sitting 6 inches away from them, and then when you put it on a yacht, now you're suddenly 6 feet away from it, and you have to have big numbers, you have to have clarity of the charts, it has to look good. So we think Pinpoint will do well out there.
What are some of the unique features that Pinpoint has?
Unique features that Pinpoint has, one that's very nice is you can do a split screen method. If anybody's familiar with Windows 95, where you can run multitasking or multiple screens, there you can have your actual track on one screen on one side of it, and on the other side, on the other 50% of the screen, you can be planning your next route, your next waypoint, etc. So you're still actually running live, but you're doing 2 different things at once.
We have a new marina. It is state-of-the-art. We have, I think the grounds, the setting is a beautiful showcase for many of these yachts. And the privacy they get at this particular marina is wonderful.
So Tony, the reason you came to this rendezvous is to kind of get a feel of how these things are going to happen at your location.
Yeah, it's a good
What happened? How was the experience?
I'll tell you, it is just a great bunch of people here. The DeFever people are rather special, I think. I haven't, I did meet some of them last summer, but they're just so enthusiastic. These meetings they have are very, very unusual to me because I've never seen this. The opportunity to speak to them, they're just a wonderful audience. They're very receptive, and they do want to learn as much as they can. The electronics people, the people with the engines, many other people, the insurance specialists, the air conditioning people have given wonderful presentations. The fun they have at the restaurants and the bars nearby and so on is just one group of very close-knit group of people that have the one thing in common, and that's the DeFever yachts.
So you wanted to come down here to Marathon and get a first-hand look at how the rendezvous goes on.
Right.
So maybe you'll have a little better insight when you're running the rendezvous at your place.
Yeah.
Now, again, when are the rendezvous coming up at your
Most of them start in May, go through July, June and July.
Okay, great. Well, Tony, I know they're going to be changing your name to Rendezvous, your last name.
Rendezvous Casado.
There you go.
That's it,
you go. I thank you so much for being on Ship Shape.
Thank you, John. Very nice meeting you.
Don't sail away. Ship Shape will be right back.
Now this is something called Dock Days at the DeFever Rendezvous, and what it is the yacht owners get together and exchange information. They have open houses on different vessels to talk about maintenance tips as well as war stories. So hopefully we can head on board and take a look at one of these yachts firsthand. May we come aboard?
John, welcome aboard. We're Bob and Barbara Fordyce.
Hello, Bob.
And we're glad to have you.
Barbara, welcome. Thank you for having us.
Come
now,
on in out of the weather.
We'd love to take a look at it. Can we head inside and look at some of the interior?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
When we bought our DeFever 6-7 years ago, we didn't know about the Rendezvous. The first one was in Key West. We have not missed one since, so that gives you a little bit of idea what we truly think about Rendezvous. It's a great get-together. It's a great exchange of ideas, and it just makes our day when we're able to come to the Rendezvous.
From this particular Rendezvous, what kind of maintenance, what would be the biggest maintenance kind of tip that you got?
Well, we've been talking about this and that, and one thing that I just experienced was changing to a different brand of transmission. And it was kind of an experiment. I was the guinea pig, and we got them in, and they just worked beautiful. But we exchange everything from refinishing ideas and methods on varnishing to paint to polishes to whatever, electronic equipment, on and on and on. And the subjects are just unlimited.
Well, these things are so critical when you're talking about the actual manufacturers get insight, real insight, because your group probably uses the vessel more than anybody out there.
Well, this DeFever group are very unusual boaters. They're mostly all hands-on. They're the finest bunch of engineering mechanics that I've ever seen in boating. Everybody are excellent navigators. They're excellent mechanics in electronics, in other mechanical things, and everybody is ready and willing to help each other. If one person has a breakdown, and I've been known as a parts boat, I carry backups on so many things, and if it's within the group, you've got it fixed.
Well, as you can see, a rendezvous is a lot of fun. One thing I might want to suggest is if you have a particular type of boat, get with other boat owners that own the same type of boat, get together and start your own rendezvous. The information is vital.
Ship Shape. We'll be right back.
Chapman's Corner is brought to you by Chapman School of Seamanship.
Today on Chapman's Corner, we want to show you how to tie a sheet bend. The sheet bend is utilized for tying two lines together. If I want to extend the lines, I'm throwing someone a line to tow another vessel or something and I don't have quite the right length that I need, I can use a sheet bend to bend another line on to extend the length. And here we go. Hold the line like this, and I take the bitter end, come up through the back, go behind my first loop, go through the second loop that I made, come around again, go through that loop again, pull on here and here, snug that tight, and there's my double sheet bend. That knot, I can put a lot of pressure on it, and when it's time to untie it, I won't have any problem. From Chapman School of Seamanship, this is Tom Dante.
With me again today is Gary Oviatt of Oviatt Marine in Fort Lauderdale. Gary, thanks so much for having us out today.
Thank you, John.
Now today we're going to be taking a look at what boat?
Today we're looking at Child's Play, which is a 53 DeFever designed performance offshore cruiser.
And what year was this boat built?
She was built in 1988.
Okay. Now there's something different about this DeFever than the other ones that we've looked at past shows. Can you tell us about this boat?
Yes, this is a new generation of design as far as DeFevers go. It's DeVenicel cord, which makes it lighter, and she's capable of planing.
That's a real neat feature on a boat of this size.
Right. She's powered with 375 horse Caterpillar diesels, which is not a tremendously large engine to
achieve planing with a 53-footer, but they do the trick in this boat. And
now this was a fairly popular boat, is that correct?
yes, they built approximately 70 of them in a basically a 3-year production run between 1986 and 1988.
I've got you. Now, how many staterooms does this vessel have, Gary?
She has, it was originally designed with 3 staterooms. One of these staterooms has been converted to an office.
Okay. Now, what neat kind of innovative things have they done in that conversion? I know it's real custom and all that, but...
Well, they've very professionally installed cabinet work, desk surface, and actually a sewing machine that disappears and flips into the desk and then comes back up again when they want to use it. Otherwise, they use the surface for computer station.
Well, that's really nice. What kind of range can you expect to get on this boat?
This boat gets approximately 1 mile to the gallon, and she carries 800 gallons of fuel, so that's about 800 miles.
Okay, great. And what kind of generators does the boat have?
It has 2 generators, a 15 kW and an 8 kW, both Onans.
Okay, great, great. So the boat has a pretty good range. It can plane, which is something real unique. There were, what, about 70 of these boats?
70 53s, there were some 57s and 51s also of the same production series.
Now, how can somebody preview this boat, Gary?
By calling my office in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, okay. Now, along with that, they can also get something of a publication that you put out. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we produce a magazine called Oviatt's Offshore Cruiser, in which we describe in detail hundreds of boats of this type. We have several other 53s for sale as well as this one.
Okay.
And a lot of other boats in there.
Great. Now, how can somebody get this publication?
Call my office, and my secretary will be happy to put you on our mailing list, and we'll send you a copy.
Give us the phone number real quick.
It's 305-925-0065.
Well, Gary, I really appreciate you being on the show. You give us so much information on these larger vessels. We really love them. We really love looking at it. Is there anything else that you want to talk about on this boat? Any amenities? Any special kind of electronics?
She's very well equipped electronically. She has 2 GPSs, radar, single sideband radio, and plus the normal depth finders and other gear. She also has a 600-gallon-a-day water maker, so she can produce her own water underway.
Great, great. That's real important.
And a few other custom features. She has a half tower, aluminum half tower, which is a permanent top for the flying bridge.
Great. Well, Gary, again, thanks so much for being on the show. Until next week, thank you.
Thank you, John.
If boating's your game, then you'll agree. Ship shape is the way to be. Out on the lake or on the sea, ship shape means trouble free. Ship shape means